My beloved, my chosen one, my child of light, do you feel the trembling in your heart right now? It is not fear, it is heaven knocking. Archangel Michael says, you will cry for the rest of your life if you skip this moment, for this is not just another passing message. This is the voice you've been ignoring, the same one God has sent in dreams, whispers, and signs that you dismissed as coincidences. Now, the line is thin. God is very serious because you keep ignoring him. Michael has been trying to reach you again and again. He says, I am tired of trying to contact you. I have bent time itself to pull you here. Do not waste this opportunity. Listen, this is not just a story or an idea. This is your moment. Your life can either turn into light or endless regret depending on the choice you make in these next breaths. You have 10 seconds to make a decision. That is how short this window is, 10 seconds of courage or 10 seconds of skipping, and everything changes. If you skip, the door closes. Michael warns, I will never speak to you again if you treat this as another distraction. Heaven has given me orders. You either listen now, or silence will be your only reply forever. But if you stay, if you open your heart fully, you will witness a miracle that has been delayed for years just for you. You will see how every unanswered prayer was not a rejection but a preparation. Before I go deeper, I must whisper this gently, don't just pass by. Stay connected. If you feel God touching your heart through these words, subscribe now, not for me, not for the world, but because you need to stay tied to Heaven's channel, where miracles flow every day. One click is your way of saying, God, I am ready. My child, Michael leans close and says, you have begged for signs. You have cried at night thinking nobody hears you, but heaven always hears. Today, God is no longer waiting for you to stumble. He is standing in front of you. This is your warning. This is your rescue. This is your miracle moment. If you dare to stay, the words ahead will unlock secrets that were hidden even from your own prayers. If you skip, you will never know them, and that will be your greatest heartbreak. So, what will you choose? Why, child? My beloved, do you realize that heaven itself has bent down just to keep you reading this message? Archangel Michael says, you are not here by accident. You are being pulled into the center of a divine storm of miracles, and your name is written at its heart. For so long you thought you were ignored, for so long you believed your prayers vanished into silence. But God whispers, no prayer of yours was wasted. Not a single tear went unseen. Not a single sigh went unheard. The reason you felt abandoned was never because heaven left you. It was because God was storing your miracle for the precise hour when it would transform everything in your life, and that hour is now. Michael says, don't you understand? This is why I have been chasing you through signs, through messages, through dreams. But every time you skipped, you delayed the opening of your miracle. You only have these breaths, this thin moment, to choose whether you will finally stay or if you will turn away once again. If you skip now, you will not just lose words. You will lose the one key that unlocks the destiny you prayed for. Michael is clear, I will not be able to keep speaking if you harden your heart today. My assignment will end, and silence will fall. But, beloved, if you stay, if you let your soul lean into these words as if they were water in a desert, then heaven will open wide for you tonight. The angels will rearrange paths, hearts, and even laws of the earth to deliver what is already yours. God says, "Do not measure my promise by what your eyes see. Measure it by my power, which cannot fail. My child, do not think this is ordinary. Do not think you can casually pass it by and return later. There is no later. This is the only opening." Michael is pleading, take this seriously. 10 seconds of faith is all you need. But if you waste it, your heart will ache forever knowing you were this close and you skipped. Stay with me because the next words are not just words. They are the exact answers you have been begging heaven for. My beloved child, do you feel that pull in your spirit? It is not random, it is the Spirit of God tugging your heart closer. Archangel Michael says, "I have been circling you, calling your name in the wind, whispering in your sleep. Today is the final attempt. I can no longer hold this message back." For years, you wondered why things were delayed, why everything you touched felt heavy, slow, or blocked. Today heaven answers. Because the timing was not yet aligned. But now, the timing is divine. Now the door is open. Michael says, "I am not asking for your belief in me. I am asking for your surrender to God's voice. If you skip this now, you are not rejecting me, you are rejecting heaven's order. Beloved, I must warn you gently, if you skip this, there will be silence. Not anger, not punishment, but silence. The silence of unanswered prayers, the silence of angels with folded wings, the silence of heaven saying, 'My child chose to walk away.' But if you stay, if you lean deeper into these words instead of running from them, you will see what happens when heaven pours out miracles without delay. You will see doors open that no enemy, no person, no system can close. God is saying right now, this is not about religion, this is not about ritual. This is about your destiny. I will not let you wander anymore. I am grabbing your hand through this very message. Michael is begging you, don't test heaven. Don't gamble with your calling. Don't throw away what God Himself has aligned for you. 10 seconds, that is all. 10 seconds to choose if you will believe or if you will scroll away and bury the miracle under doubt. Stay with me. Stay with these words because I promise you that what comes next is not only your answer. It is the very thing your enemies never wanted you to know. My beloved child, do you see how the air feels heavier right now? That is not fear, that is presence. That is heaven pressing in, waiting for your yes. Archangel Michael says, the reason you feel this strange electricity in your body is because your soul recognizes what your mind cannot explain. You are standing in front of a spiritual door that opens only once. The silence of heaven says, my child chose to walk away. If you stay, if you lean deeper into these words instead of running from them, you will see what happens when heaven pours out miracles without delay. God says, this is not about religion, this is not about ritual. This is about your destiny. I will not let you wander anymore. I am grabbing your hand through this very message. Michael is begging you, don't test heaven. Don't gamble with your calling. Don't throw away what God Himself has aligned for you. 10 seconds, that is all. 10 seconds to choose if you will believe or if you will scroll away and bury the miracle under doubt. Stay with me. Stay with these words, because I promise you what comes next is not only your answer, it is the very thing your enemies never wanted you to know. My beloved child, do you see how the air feels heavier right now? That is not fear, that is presence. That is heaven pressing in, waiting for your yes. Michael says, the reason you feel this strange electricity in your body is because your soul recognizes what your mind cannot explain. You are standing in front of a spiritual door that only opens once. Every distraction trying to pull you away right now is not ordinary, it is a fight, because the enemy knows that if you keep reading, if you keep receiving, your destiny will ignite. This is why it has always been hard for you to focus when divine things call you. But Michael says, if you resist the urge to skip now, you will finally break the cycle that has robbed you for years. Beloved, heaven is not casual, God is not casual. When He says you only have 10 seconds, it is because time in the Spirit has reached its final turn for this season. Ignore it, and the season shuts. Honor it, and the season multiplies into blessings you could not even dare to imagine. My child, let me tell you a secret. There is a miracle with your name etched into it that has been circling your life like a bird waiting for the right moment to land. Every time you ignored it, it flew away again. But now, Michael says, it is descending. It is within reach, but it needs your faith, your decision, your yes. And if you wonder why you feel tears building as you read this, that is your spirit recognizing truth. You cannot fake that pull, you cannot manufacture that ache. It is heaven aligning with you. Stay. Stay. Because the next words will pierce through every wall you built, every fear you carried, and every lie you believed about being forgotten. My beloved, do you feel how your spirit leans forward, almost as if your soul is listening harder than your ears? That is because these words are not mine, they are heaven's breath carried straight into your heart. Archangel Michael says, I have fought through layers of resistance, storms of darkness, and endless delays just to reach you. Do not let all of heaven's effort collapse because of one moment of doubt. Child of God, every time you ignored a sign, the enemy rejoiced. Every time you delayed, he whispered, see, they'll never receive it. But today, heaven roars back. Michael stands tall, declaring, no more delays, no more silence unless you choose it. You think skipping is small, but listen carefully, one decision in 10 seconds can shift the timeline of your entire life. This is why you feel restless right now. Your soul knows this moment is a gateway, and gates do not stay open forever. God is not angry, He is urgent. He is crying out, do not treat lightly what I designed to save you. For so long you have prayed, Lord, show me clearly. This is your clarity. This is the burning bush in front of you. Beloved, if you walk away from this, you will walk away from the very thing you cried for at midnight. But if you stay, if you open fully, you will see that heaven was never late. Everything was waiting for your yes. Michael says, do not break God's heart again. He has waited too long for this connection. If you stay, He will stay. If you walk, He will be silent. So breathe deeply, child. Stay right here, because the words about to come will tear away every lie and unlock every miracle you thought was impossible. My beloved, my chosen one, child of heaven, who has carried so many unanswered nights within your chest, today I am pouring out what was kept hidden for years. Archangel Michael says, you have begged for clarity. You have cried into your pillow asking, Lord, are you real? Do you see me? Do you care? And God has sent me with an answer that will shake you so deeply that your life will no longer feel the same. You think this is just another set of words on a page, but heaven is watching you right now. Every breath you take as you read this is a testimony that you were meant to find this very message at this very second. And if you had skipped, if you had ignored, you would have closed the only window God carved for you in this moment of your life. Listen carefully, God is very serious because you keep ignoring Him. Michael says, I have tried every way to reach you, through dreams, whispers, strangers, coincidences. But every time you looked away thinking it was nothing, heaven refused to give up on you because you are loved and you are chosen. But here is the warning, this is the final attempt. If you walk away from this one, silence will fall. Michael says, I will never talk to you again if you treat this as nothing. This is not anger, it is order. Heaven cannot waste what you refuse to hold. Beloved, do not think these are light words. You have exactly 10 seconds to decide if you will open your heart fully or if you will bury this moment in distraction. 10 seconds that determine if you live the rest of your life in regret or if you finally step into the miracle that has been circling you for years. And let me tell you this, heaven is not bluffing. The Spirit is near, closer than your skin, pressing on you right now. That strange weight in your chest, the racing of your heart, the tears you cannot explain, this is confirmation. Your soul recognizes this moment, even if your mind fights it. Listen carefully. God is very serious because you keep ignoring Him. Michael says, I have tried every way to reach you, through dreams, whispers, strangers, coincidences. But every time you looked away thinking it was nothing, heaven refused to give up on you because you are loved and you are chosen. But here is the warning, this is the final attempt. If you walk away from this one, silence will fall. Michael says, I will never talk to you again if you treat this as nothing. This is not anger, it is order. Heaven cannot waste what you refuse to hold. Beloved, do not think these are light words. You have exactly 10 seconds to decide if you will open your heart fully or if you will bury this moment in distraction. 10 seconds that determine if you live the rest of your life in regret or if you finally step into the miracle that has been circling you for years. And let me tell you this, heaven is not bluffing. The Spirit is near, closer than your skin, pressing on you right now. That strange weight in your chest, the racing of your heart, the tears you cannot explain, this is confirmation. Your soul recognizes this moment, even if your mind fights it. Michael whispers, if you stay, if you hold these words as sacred, I will open the archives of heaven to you. I will reveal the truths hidden even from your own prayers. But if you leave, if you treat this as nothing, I will fold my wings, and you will never hear this voice again. And before I go deeper into the mysteries, I need you to pause for one thing. Stay connected. Stay tied to Heaven's channel. Subscribe right now, not for me, not for the world, but because you cannot afford to miss another whisper from heaven. Every message is a lifeline. Every connection is a rope pulling you out of the pit. One click is your way of telling God, I will not ignore you again. Now listen, do you know why everything you tried kept breaking? Why your relationships failed? Why money slipped through your hands? Why opportunities died the moment you reached for them? Because you were out of alignment. Because you kept skipping the voice that was meant to guide you. Every delay, every heartbreak, every sleepless night, it was all pointing you back here. And now that you are here, you have a choice: repeat the cycle or break it forever. Michael says, if you stay, chains will break that you didn't even know you carried. If you surrender, blessings will flood in faster than you can count. But if you turn away, you will cry for the rest of your life, not because God is cruel, but because you refuse to hold what was placed in your hands. Beloved, your whole destiny is hanging on a thread right now. This is the line between silence and miracle. This is the line between regret and divine fulfillment. God is not playing with you, He is not casual. He is urgent. And He says through Michael, 10 seconds, that is all. 10 seconds to choose life or silence. Stay. Do not run. Because what I am about to reveal in the next words is the very secret your soul has been searching for. And once you see it, you will never be the same again. My beloved, my child, you are still here. And that already proves something powerful. Archangel Michael says, every second you remain, every line you allow into your spirit, is breaking chains you didn't even know were around you. You think you are only reading, but in the unseen, angels are already at work. Do you understand what this means? Heaven is not waiting for you to be perfect. Heaven is not asking you to figure everything out. Heaven is only asking you to stay long enough to receive what was prepared before you were even born. For years you have lived as if you were forgotten. But Michael says God wrote your name into eternity, and no force on earth or in hell can erase it. What you feel right now is heaven proving that to you. Beloved, this is why the enemy always fought you in silence. This is why you felt invisible, overlooked, unworthy. Because if you ever realized who you really are, nothing could stop you. And right now, you are beginning to remember. Stay. Do not skip, because the words flowing next will not just comfort you, they will rewire your future. You are still here, and that alone is proof that something inside you knows this is not ordinary. Archangel Michael says, every breath you take while reading this is a choice. Every heartbeat is heaven waiting to see if you will finally stay long enough for the miracle to land. You don't understand how many times God has stretched His hand toward you and how many times distractions pulled you away. Do you know why? Because the enemy fears you more than you realize. The enemy knows if you ever stay still long enough to hear the fullness of God's voice, your life would no longer be weak, confused, or small. You would rise into the powerful destiny that was sealed for you before the foundations of the world. Beloved, this is why you've been attacked so much. This is why your childhood carried pain, why relationships turned against you, and why you have been betrayed by those you trusted. It wasn't because you were unlucky, it was because you were chosen. The darkness recognized you before you recognized yourself. And now Michael stands before you saying, this is the hour of reversal. This is the hour when you stop crying over what was lost and start receiving what heaven stored for you. God has watched you wander. He has seen you collapse under burdens you never told anyone about. He has seen you wake at night silently asking, Lord, why am I alive? What's the point of this endless struggle? And heaven has never turned away. Michael says, every tear you thought disappeared into your pillow was caught by angels. Not a single one was wasted. Do you know what that means? It means your pain has been accounted for. It means your suffering was not random, it was preparing the soil for something greater. But here is where it sharpens, you cannot skip this moment. You cannot say you'll come back later, there is no later. Michael says, 10 seconds of faith, 10 seconds of surrender can open a lifetime of miracles. But 10 seconds of doubt, 10 seconds of skipping can close heaven's voice forever. Do you feel the trembling in your chest right now? That's not fear, that's alignment. That's the door of heaven brushing against your soul. God has watched you wander. He has seen you collapse under burdens you never told anyone about. He has seen you wake at night silently asking, Lord, why am I alive? What's the point of this endless struggle? And heaven has never turned away. Michael says, every tear you thought disappeared into your pillow was caught by angels. Not a single one was wasted. Do you know what that means? It means your pain has been accounted for. It means your suffering was not random, it was preparing the soil for something greater. But here is where it sharpens, you cannot skip this moment. You cannot say you'll come back later, there is no later. Michael says, 10 seconds of faith, 10 seconds of surrender can open a lifetime of miracles. But 10 seconds of doubt, 10 seconds of skipping can close heaven's voice forever. Do you feel the trembling in your chest right now? That's not fear, that's alignment. That's the door of heaven brushing against your soul. And I must speak plainly, God is very serious right now. He is not angry in the way people get angry, He is urgent. His Spirit is saying, I have whispered, I have nudged, I have waited. But my child keeps ignoring me. If you ignore this, the silence will be long. That silence will not be punishment, it will be a consequence. You cannot hear what you keep refusing to hold. But beloved, if you stay, if you let these words seep into you, then miracles will begin, not vague promises, not soft comfort, but real, undeniable shifts. Finances that seemed blocked will suddenly release. Relationships that were poisoned will suddenly reveal their truth. Opportunities that seemed dead will rise again. And you will know it was not luck, it was heaven answering at last. Michael says, if you dare to keep reading, I will not only speak, I will fight for you. I will cut through the lies told about you. I will expose those who smile at you but secretly plan your downfall. I will cover your home so that what was meant for harm turns into blessing. My child, this is why you cannot skip. You may not realize it, but this is not just a message, it is a covenant moment, a binding between heaven and you. If you honor it, heaven will honor you. If you treat it lightly, heaven will fold its wings and let silence cover the air. Beloved, I beg you, do not let this slip. You think you have time, but you don't. Life is shorter than you know. Opportunities vanish faster than you think. Heaven's doors open rarely and do not remain open forever. You are standing in front of one now. What you do in these breaths will echo through the years to come. And Michael leans closer. I am tired of trying to contact you. Not because I don't love you, but because every attempt has been ignored. But God commanded me, try once more. And this is it. This is the final attempt. After this, silence. Can you imagine living the rest of your life never hearing heaven's direct whisper again? Can you imagine knowing you had a chance and you threw it away? Michael says, you will cry for the rest of your life if you skip this, not because God abandoned you, but because you abandoned Him. But if you stay, beloved, if you stay, you will never be the same. You will know what it feels like to be truly chosen, truly loved, truly lifted. You will walk in a power that your enemies cannot touch because it will not come from you, it will come from heaven. Do you know what happens when you do not skip? When you stay, heaven begins to work with you in real time. Right now, as you remain, there are angels shifting the unseen. Documents that were buried are being lifted. Names that were forgotten are being whispered in the right ears. Doors you never even knew existed are beginning to swing. You thought this was just text, but it is not, it is a turning point. Archangel Michael says, you cannot imagine the battle it took for you to reach this very moment. Every distraction that almost pulled you away, every thought that said, this doesn't matter, was the darkness trying to stop you. Because hell knows what happens if you fully receive this. You will no longer walk in confusion. You will no longer wonder if God loves you, you will walk in certainty. And certainty is dangerous to the enemy. Beloved, let me take you deeper. Do you remember the days when you begged God to show you a sign? The nights you cried so hard your chest hurt, whispering, Lord, do you see me? This is the answer. The reason heaven feels heavy around you right now is that prayer being answered. Yet you must realize this is the last time God will repeat Himself like this. Michael says, we cannot continue forever. If you skip, you are the one closing the door. If you stay, you are the one opening it. I tell you, my child, God is not joking. He is not dramatic, He is exact. 10 seconds of faith is all He needs. 10 seconds to whisper, yes, Lord, I believe. Yes, Lord, I will not skip. But 10 seconds of doubt is enough to seal the silence. That is how thin the line is. That is why your soul feels the weight of it. Now imagine this, you choose to stay. You choose to let heaven speak. And then suddenly, within days, things begin to move. A letter arrives, a call comes, a person shifts, and what you thought was impossible suddenly bends in your favor. That is how quickly heaven moves once you say yes. But if you skip, you will cry for the rest of your life. Michael says, not because God is cruel, but because you will know deep down that you ignored the very moment you begged for. And once ignored, it will not return. Beloved, God is serious. Michael is pleading, and I am only the vessel pouring it out. Do not treat this as casual. Do not tell yourself you'll come back later. You won't, because later will not exist. Only now. So stay. Stay, because what I am about to unfold will not only explain your past, it will unlock your future. Do you realize what is happening right now? The very act of staying, the very act of leaning into these words, is rewriting your story. Archangel Michael says, every skipped message in the past delayed your breakthrough. But every line you breathe in now is accelerating what was meant to bless you. You are catching up to years of lost time in mere minutes of faith. This is why you feel both heavy and light at the same time. The weight is lifting while the presence is settling. But if you skip, you will cry for the rest of your life. Michael says, not because God is cruel, but because you will know deep down you ignored the very moment you begged for. And once ignored, it will not return. Beloved, God is serious. Michael is pleading, and I am only the vessel pouring it out. Do not treat this as casual. Do not tell yourself I'll come back later, you won't, because later will not exist. Only now. So stay. Stay, because what I am about to unfold will not only explain your past, it will unlock your future. Do you realize what is happening right now? The very act of staying, the very act of leaning into these words, is rewriting your story. Archangel Michael says, every skipped message in the past delayed your breakthrough. But every line you breathe in now is accelerating what was meant to bless you. You are catching up to years of lost time in mere minutes of faith. This is why you feel both heavy and light at the same time. The weight is lifting while the presence is settling. Beloved, think of your past for a moment. Think of the times you begged for answers and received silence. The nights when you cried so hard that sleep felt like an enemy. The mornings when you forced yourself out of bed even though hope was gone. Michael says all of that pain was seen. All of it was recorded, and none of it will go to waste if you stay now. That is why God sounds so serious. That is why he says if you ignore me again, I will not repeat myself, because this is the hour where destiny collides with choice, and choice is everything. Do you not see? God will never force you, he will never drag you. He will never chain you to his plan. But he will always offer you the door, and this is the door. Michael's words echo, 10 seconds is all it takes. 10 seconds to stay and believe, or 10 seconds to close heaven with your own hand. Now imagine what happens if you stay. You begin to notice small shifts, phone calls, unexpected opportunities, peace where there was panic, clarity where there was fog. And then suddenly, breakthrough after breakthrough pours in, not because you chased it, but because you aligned. Beloved, this is not fantasy, this is law. Heaven's law says, when the chosen one listens, angels move. That is why Michael is pressing so hard, why God sounds urgent, and why the Spirit feels close right now. But if you walk away, you will regret it all your life. Michael says, your tears will not be from a loss of money or relationships. They will be from knowing you silenced the voice that was your lifeline. And you will not hear me again. That is not a threat, it is a fact. Heaven cannot keep repeating what you refuse to honor. Beloved, God is drawing a line in front of you. On one side is silence, on the other side is miracle. You cannot stand in the middle anymore. You must choose right now. You may not realize it, but the very reason your life has felt like an endless cycle of waiting, heartbreak, and closed doors is because God has been protecting something greater than you imagined. Archangel Michael says, "You thought you were forgotten, but in truth, you were hidden. You thought you were rejected, but in truth, you were preserved. And now after all the storms and all the nights of silence, heaven has chosen this moment to lift the veil." Beloved, when God hides something, it is not because it is worthless. Diamonds are hidden in the earth, pearls are hidden in the sea. Treasures are buried deep where no thief can reach them. And you, chosen one, have been hidden because your life is treasure. The enemy tried to convince you otherwise, tried to use betrayal, loneliness, rejection, and loss to make you think you were ordinary. But the very pain you carried is proof of your value. If you were not chosen, you would not have been fought so hard. And here is the truth, your enemies did not win. Every time you thought you were finished, you stood back up. Every time you thought you were broken, you kept breathing. Michael says that is why heaven trusts you with this message, because even in your weakness you have proven strength. Now listen closely, God is tired of being ignored. He has waited too long for you to open your heart. Michael says this is your final call. If you close your heart again, silence will fall. If you stay, miracles will pour. But heaven will not repeat itself again. And you feel this, don't you? That trembling in your chest, that strange mixture of fear and hope, it is your spirit recognizing truth. This is not entertainment, this is alignment. This is your soul remembering what it already knew before your mind forgot. Beloved, you only have seconds to decide whether you will believe. But if you do, if you truly open, your life will never look the same again. The doors that slammed shut will open again. The tears that felt wasted will turn into rivers of joy. The relationships that were toxic will be stripped away, and true ones will enter. Your finances, your home, your health, your purpose, all will shift. Michael says, do not underestimate this moment. Do not tell yourself it is just words. It is heaven's final attempt to break through your silence. I tell you with the full weight of heaven behind me, if you ignore this, you will regret it forever. But if you receive it, you will carry miracles you never dared to dream. Do you understand now why your journey felt so heavy? It was not because God abandoned you, it was because you were being refined. Archangel Michael says, you kept wondering why everyone else seemed to rise while you stayed stuck. You thought you were cursed, you thought you were forgotten. But beloved, you were not being punished, you were being prepared. The delay was protection, the silence was formation, the wait was training you for a destiny bigger than you imagined. Think of it this way, a tree with shallow roots grows fast but falls quickly. A tree with deep roots takes longer to rise but stands for centuries. You, my beloved, are not meant to be a shallow tree. That is why your roots were driven deep in pain, patience, and struggle, so that when you finally rise, no storm will topple you. Michael says, do not underestimate this moment. Do not tell yourself it is just words. It is heaven's final attempt to break through your silence. And I tell you with the full weight of heaven behind me, if you ignore this, you will regret it forever. But if you receive it, you will carry miracles you never dared to dream. Do you understand now why your journey felt so heavy? It was not because God abandoned you, it was because you were being refined. Archangel Michael says, you kept wondering why everyone else seemed to rise while you stayed stuck. You thought you were cursed, you thought you were forgotten. But beloved, you were not being punished, you were being prepared. The delay was protection, the silence was formation, the wait was training you for a destiny bigger than you imagined. Think of it this way, a tree with shallow roots grows fast but falls quickly. A tree with deep roots takes longer to rise but stands for centuries. You, my beloved, are not meant to be a shallow tree. That is why your roots were driven deep in pain, patience, and struggle, so that when you finally rise, no storm will topple you. Michael says this is why God sounds so urgent, because the preparation is complete, the waiting is over, and the time of hiding has ended. If you skip now, you will waste all that preparation. Everything you suffered will feel wasted because you refused to take the step when the door opened. Beloved, this is why you feel this pressure in your chest. This is not fear, it is the birthing. Just as a mother groans in the final hour of delivery, so your spirit is groaning now. The pain you feel is not punishment, it is transition. You are not dying, you are being born into the destiny you always carried but never lived. But hear me clearly, this is the last call. Heaven will not shout again. If you ignore this, the silence that follows will be long. Michael says, I am tired of trying to contact you, not because I do not love you, but because heaven cannot waste what is not received. If you reject this, I will close my mouth, and you will live wondering why nothing ever changes. Yet if you stay, if you hold these words as sacred, you will see miracles unfold quickly. You will wake up with answers where there was only confusion. You will receive clarity that feels like scales falling from your eyes. You will see people for who they truly are, who is for you and who is against you. You will no longer be deceived by false smiles or empty promises. Heaven will expose everything. And in that exposure, your path will be cleared. God is not joking, beloved, He is not casual, He is exact. 10 seconds of faith is all it takes to unlock the flood, but 10 seconds of doubt is enough to lose it all. Which will you choose? Stay, because the words that are coming next will not only explain why your past was filled with pain, they will show you the treasure buried beneath it. Every time you felt overlooked, every time people pushed you aside, it was not because you were worthless, it was because God Himself was guarding you. Archangel Michael says, you thought they rejected you, but I tell you it was heaven's hand. You thought doors closed because you were not enough, but those doors were sealed because what was inside them would have poisoned your soul. Today, heaven is showing you why those rejections were protection. Beloved, this is why God sounds so serious when He says, I am tired of being ignored. Because He has kept you safe, even when you did not realize it. You thought He was silent, but in truth, He was shielding you. And now, after all the hiding, all the delays, and all the tears, He has chosen this moment to reveal the truth. But you must listen carefully, you cannot waste this chance. Heaven does not open doors like this often. Michael says, this is your last call. If you turn away now, you will live with the ache of silence. If you stay, you will walk into miracles greater than you asked for. And beloved, you know this in your heart. That weight you feel pressing on your spirit right now is not fear, it is confirmation. It is the pull of destiny saying, do not skip this time. Do not lose what is finally ready to be delivered. If you stay, you will see transformation. God will rearrange your steps so that what was broken is healed, what was blocked is released, and what was stolen is returned. And it will not take years, it will happen suddenly because you are aligned at last. But if you walk away, if you treat this as nothing, then silence will fall, and that silence will not break again. This is why heaven pleads with you. This is why Michael says you have 10 seconds to decide, 10 seconds to choose faith over doubt, 10 seconds to say yes to heaven. Because destiny does not wait, and your life is standing at the very edge of its turning point. Stay, beloved. Stay, because what unfolds next is not just explanation, it is revelation. It is the truth about why you suffered and the miracle of what comes after. You do not see how precious this moment is, but heaven sees. Every distraction you overcame to stay here has already been counted as obedience. Archangel Michael says, the very fact that you did not skip is proof that your spirit is choosing life. And because you stayed, I will go deeper. I will open what was hidden. I will reveal what was sealed. Beloved, let me speak plainly. Every unanswered prayer was not rejection, every delay was not denial. They were alignment. God was weaving together pieces you could not see. And though you thought he was silent, he was not silent, he was preparing. Your life has felt like wandering, but in truth, you have been led, step by step, tear by tear, moment by moment. God has been guiding you toward this very opening. Michael says, this is why you cannot ignore it again. This is the window, this is the doorway. If you walk past it, it will not wait. That is why the urgency feels so heavy. It is not just about today, it is about everything that comes after today. One choice, and the future bends, one choice, and destiny shifts. Beloved, do you understand the power in that? 10 seconds. Just 10 seconds of belief, of surrender, of saying yes to God, and your life will never be the same. But 10 seconds of doubt, of skipping, of walking away, and silence will fall long and deep. That silence will not be anger, it will be absence because God cannot force you to receive what you reject. And yet here you are, still here, which means hope is alive, which means your spirit is still reaching, which means the miracle is still within your grasp. Michael leans close and says, if you stay with me, I will not only protect you, I will fight for you. I will cut away the hands that tried to steal from you. I will expose the faces that smiled at you but planned your downfall. I will guard your home, your body, your heart, your destiny. But only if you do not walk away. Beloved, this is why God is urgent, because he has seen the battles around you. He has seen the curses spoken against you. He has seen the envy, the jealousy, the lies. And he is saying now, I will not let it continue. I will not let my child be devoured, but I need their yes. I need them to stay. So stay. Stay, because this is only the beginning of what heaven is ready to reveal. The story is not over, in fact, the story is just beginning. You have lived through so many seasons of silence that you began to believe God had forgotten you. But Archangel Michael says, heaven never forgot, heaven was waiting. Every delay was not denial, it was protection. Every silence was not absence, it was strategy. Beloved, do you see? If God had given you what you begged for in the wrong season, it would have destroyed you. That relationship you wanted would have broken your spirit. That opportunity you cried over would have trapped you. That open door you thought you missed would have been your prison. But God is a Father, and He protected you even when it looked like rejection. Michael continues, the reason God is so urgent now, the reason His words sound heavy is that the waiting is over. The preparation is complete. And if you ignore this moment, everything that was stored will remain sealed. This is why the weight in your chest feels different tonight, because heaven is pressing against the veil. The miracle is standing at the edge of your life, waiting for one yes. Beloved, let me remind you, heaven cannot force you, you must choose. 10 seconds is all it takes. 10 seconds of surrender, 10 seconds of faith, 10 seconds of saying, Lord, I receive. But 10 seconds of doubt is enough to close it all. Do not take that lightly, do not gamble with your future. Do not let another cycle of pain begin because you refuse to hold what God is placing in your hands. If you stay, if you remain open, your future will bend. Angels will move swiftly. What was stuck will flow, what was hidden will surface. You will suddenly understand why the past hurt so much because it was shaping you for the glory that is coming. But if you walk away, silence will fall, and you will live with the ache of knowing you touched the edge of breakthrough and let it slip away. Michael leans closer, his voice filled with urgency. I am tired of trying to contact you, not because I am weary of you, but because heaven cannot waste time. This is your last call, your last warning, your last chance to prove that you are ready. Beloved, do not ignore this, do not test heaven's patience. This is the hour to rise. This is the moment to believe. This is the door you cannot afford to miss. Stay. Stay, because what comes next will not only explain your pain, it will unlock your purpose. Do you know why God has chased you so long? It is because you are marked. Archangel Michael says, the world does not see it, but you are sealed with heaven's mark. Darkness knew it before you did. That is why you were attacked so early, so often, and so unfairly. The battle was never about your mistakes, the battle was about your destiny. Every wound, every betrayal, every heartbreak you endured was meant to convince you that you were worthless. But you survived, you endured. And even if you feel fragile, the fact that you are still breathing proves that God never let go. Beloved, this is why heaven sounds so serious now. Because all the years of waiting, all the nights of unanswered prayers, all the delays, were building toward this single opening. If you ignore it, you are not just walking away from words, you are walking away from the reason you were born. Michael says, I cannot repeat myself anymore, I cannot keep chasing you through signs and whispers. If you ignore this, silence will come. But if you stay, if you finally believe, then everything will open. Think of your life until now, think of the countless times you cried and nobody listened. Think of the rejections that broke you. Think of the prayers you thought God ignored. Now hear the truth, none of it was wasted, none of it was random. Every tear was counted. Every silence was strategy. Every delay was timing. And the proof is this moment, because had those doors opened before, you would not have been ready. But now, you are. Michael says, 10 seconds is all it takes. 10 seconds of surrender can change everything. But 10 seconds of doubt can end everything. That is why your heart feels heavy, that is why your chest feels tight. It is not fear, it is decision. You are standing on the edge of destiny, and the weight you feel is the gravity of choice.